There's no such thing as the perfect student desk setup because everyone's budget and needs are different. But there are a few key considerations and products that will make your student life and study sessions a lot more enjoyable, not to mention also saving your neck and back in the process. You might not have a cat to act as stress relief, or maybe your current student desk setup looks something like this, or maybe even this. Regardless, let me show you what, in my opinion, after spending 5 years at university, is the ultimate budget student desk setup, and what kind of gear and budget you need to create something similar for yourself. Here's a sneak peek at the equipment that makes up my student desk setup. This is everything you see in this video, minus the laptop. The total cost is under $1,000 US, which I know can be expensive for students depending on your budget and situation. But this setup will last you years and years, is comfortable and productive, and you don't have to get it all in one go. You can start with a single product or two and build your own custom setup over time using this video as inspiration. Also, massive shout out to Notion for sponsoring this video. If you're a student, I definitely recommend using Notion for note-taking, organization, and studying, but more on that later. Now, you might have seen my minimal desk setup video previously, so I'll follow the same format as that. That desk setup was nice, but it was a little too minimal, especially if space is limited and you're going to be studying. So how did I switch it up for the budget student desk? Well, first I chose a cheap but good quality standing desk from Amazon. There are a number of different desks with prices ranging from around $200 to $250 US on the lower end, and I found these desks were more than adequate. You can get cheaper standing desks that don't need electricity and can be raised or lowered by hand crank, but the sole purpose of a standing desk is to easily transition from sit to stand, and cranking a handle for 2 minutes is not a fun process to do every half an hour. A standing desk is super important for your neck and back. Sitting at a desk for 8 hours a day is not healthy, and being able to stand and work every now and then makes a huge difference. Take it from a still relatively young 26-year-old who spent the last 8 years either studying or working in an office and whose back is starting to get a little bit sore after a few hours of sitting. Another 10 years of that and I'd probably be facing some serious issues, so it makes sense to get on top of it now. If you're like me and don't want to scratch your brand new desk, or you need a mouse pad and you also want it to look a little bit fancy, do invest in a leather desk pad. They're relatively inexpensive and they really do transform the entire way your setup looks. By the way, I will link all of these products down in the description below. Next, we have the brains of the operation, an M1 MacBook Air. This is the base model with 256GB SSD and 8GB of RAM. It's going to be more than enough for anything you throw at it, like hardcore multitasking, 40 plus tabs open in Google Chrome, or even 100,000 Excel rows. Although, if you're planning on doing 4K video editing, coding, or running virtual machines, get the 16GB RAM version for the extra headroom. As this is a budget desk setup, I wanted to get a laptop stand that had multiple uses. I found this really cool metal stand that allows you to prop the MacBook up and raise the screen a bit higher. This not only saves your neck by raising the height of the screen, but lets you use the MacBook Air as a second screen, instantly transforming your setup into a dual monitor setup. Not only that, but the stand is collapsible, adjustable, and very portable, so you can take it with you everywhere, including school or even traveling, like I did in a previous video on my channel. So just real quick, I want to talk about Notion and why it's such a good tool for collaborating with your team or even just on your own individually. Now, if you're a student, I definitely recommend checking out Ali Abdal's videos on Notion because he makes some great content and he uses Notion as a part of his study routine. So what I might do first of all is I'll show you my personal Notion setup, and then I'll show you the Notion setup I use to run the YouTube channel with the rest of my team. So this is my personal page. Now I add things here like movies and TV shows. I've also got other stuff in here, so more personal things, so yearly goals, my weekly agenda, which allows me to also drop down tasks for house cleaning on a Thursday, for example. And all of this just allows me to get away from all of those to-do and organization apps in the past. Now, moving on to the Notion workspace I use for the YouTube channel. This is great because I'm actually working with about 3 or 4 other people at the moment. They're all located overseas except for one, and they're mainly helping me with the website at this stage. Now, in the past, I used things like Asana and Monday, but none of it really worked that well. It didn't give me the level of customization I wanted. So if you guys are interested in Notion, whether you're a student or you're a content creator, or you just want to organize your life and increase productivity, make sure you sign up using the link in the description. So what about the main screen? Well, after doing a ton of research, I settled on the LG 27UL850 at around $450 US. It's not the cheapest monitor out there, but out of all the products in this video, I wanted to spend a little bit extra on the screen because it's what you'll be staring at for hours and hours every single day. It's a 27-inch 4K IPS panel, which means the colors are really bright and vivid, and it has display HDR 400. But that's not the main selling point of this monitor. It's also a USB-C monitor, which means you can plug your laptop directly into the monitor with a single cable and get charging, screen output, and access to any other devices plugged into the back port of the monitor. This can be anything from keyboards to hard drives or anything else with a USB-A or USB-C plug. Cool thing about having a USB-C monitor is that if I need to charge my mouse or keyboard, which both charge via a USB-C port, I can simply plug them into the same cable I use for my MacBook when I leave my desk and leave them for an hour or two to charge. If you're after something cheaper and maybe an ultra-wide version, I recommend the LG 29WN600-W. It's a decent monitor, but bear in mind it does not have the USB-C functionality of the more expensive models, so you'll need to charge and connect your MacBook separately with different cables. Now, you might be wondering, what is this weird thing on the top of the screen? Well, that would be a Lightbar. I recently invested in a Lightbar and I'm never looking back. It comes in super handy in dark rooms or at night if you're writing or reading on your desk. With traditional desk lamps, they would always cast a shadow because they'd always be at an angle, and depending how flat your book lays or which hand you write with, the shadows would get really annoying. Light bars plug into the back of your monitor via a USB cable and direct the light straight down onto your desk. You can adjust color temperature, brightness, and also the angle of the light easily to give you the perfect setup. Even if you're not reading or writing, the additional light on the screen is great for your eyes and reduces eye fatigue. For desk accessories, there are a number of cool and relatively inexpensive items that I thought would be a good choice. The first is a monitor stand from IKEA, which cost barely anything. You can get these from Amazon or other websites for cheap, and it's great for raising your monitor a lot higher to be more ergonomic, while also allowing you to organize your desk and push your keyboard underneath if you need to read or write something. The keyboard I'm using is a Keychron K6 mechanical keyboard, and I thoroughly recommend this keyboard if you're looking to pick up a budget mechanical keyboard of some sort. It's wireless with a battery life up to 2,000 hours, has a backlight if you need it, and charges via USB-C. And yes, you can use it plugged directly into your monitor or the MacBook if you prefer to. I went with the K6 as it's a 65% layout, which means the number pad and function keys on the top have been removed. Let's be honest though, most people almost never use those keys, and having the extra room on the desk for a notepad or book is much appreciated. It also makes it much easier to push the keyboard under the monitor mount. I didn't notice any disruption to my workflow removing those unnecessary keys because there are function buttons on the keyboard that still allow you to use the same shortcuts. By the way, I went with red switches, but you can choose blue or brown or any other different type of switch. However, the red switches are relatively quiet, which may be a factor if you live at home or in a share house and work late at night. Here's an idea of what the red switches sound like. At just $69, The Keychron K6 was a no-brainer for me, and I thoroughly enjoyed using this keyboard. Moving on to the mouse, and no surprises here, I'm using the Logitech MX Master 3. It's a super ergonomic and comfortable wireless mouse and charges via USB-C. You can also connect it up to 3 different computers wirelessly and switch between all of them with a single flick of a button. This mouse is incredibly helpful for students because of the scrolling features. It has an infinite scroll feature, which is great for long documents or Word files, and also has a side scroller on the side near your thumb for extra control. Now, if you also need a USB-C hub, I definitely recommend the Anker 8-in-1 hub. It's got a great track record, it's from a great company, Anker, and I've been using it on my channel for about 6 months now with 0 issues, and is pretty much essential in this day and age of MacBooks only having a USB-C port. And that's it. That is my budget student desk setup. Like I said before, you don't need to purchase everything in one go. However, I do recommend getting the Lightbar and portable laptop stand first because they are relatively cheap and will have a big impact on your workflow. So what do you think? Is this setup something you'd love to have? Is there anything you would change? Let me know in the comment section down below. But apart from that, I'll catch you in the next one.